All right. So we are in responding. I guess this is going to be episode 1. My name is Rio with Unity Gaming Group. And we're just going to go quickly over a small video of some of these changelog additions that were just made. Got a couple of messages, people saying that some things have been put in and that we should see some improvement. So I figured I might as well just go ahead and give it a quick shot before I run over to Star Citizen and start doing something that I actually want to do tonight. So anyways, we're going to go ahead and get in here. Obviously, I'm not going to bother with settings because nothing was mentioned on the changelog about settings. But we'll go ahead and come over here. Let's take a look at the changelogs first. Changelogs, there we go. Oh, come on now. All right, so changelog. This one went out at 10:25 a.m. for early access, 0.851. Major fixes and most impactful improvements are fixed an issue where new callouts would not spawn after finishing one. You know, I did notice, I mean, it didn't always happen, but yeah, once in a while, the callouts just kind of just filtered off and then they didn't come back. So yeah, I suppose that is a problem. Added a contextual keybind display to the UI. Shows when the context changes and when holding left alt for 2 seconds. Can be disabled in the settings. All right, so what does that mean? A contextual keybind. I guess that's just so you know, like, hit this button to do this. I'm not real sure on what that's actually referring to, but fixed a VSync and not saving or applying correctly. Oh, that's good. That's good. Adjusted traffic and parked vehicle spawn so vehicles now always spawn, even on low scalability settings. Now, if I'm mistaken, the scalability settings didn't work at all. So I'm not sure how much of an improvement that actually is. Because if you put it to 0, then there shouldn't be any traffic. But if you can't put it to 0.1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way up till 1.0, then you really can't set the density of the traffic the way you should be able to. So I don't know if that's fixed. It's probably not fixed. Ensured player movement stays enabled when interacting with the driver of a vehicle. Okay, yeah, I do remember a couple of times when I was talking to the driver and I couldn't move. I was just stuck in this position where I was hunched and looking through the window, talking to the driver. All right, so gameplay and AI improvements. Improved traffic response to emergency vehicles to be less linear and more aggressive when close, and increase the reaction radius. Oh, good. So maybe that was the problem when your lights and sirens are on and you're going down like 151st Street and it's full of cars. They're supposed to try to find a way to let you down the middle of the road. They get off to one side, right? They don't necessarily do that. And while I get realism comes at a cost. It comes at the cost of smooth gameplay. If players are sitting in traffic all the time, then they're not actually going to these calls because they're stuck in traffic all the time, or they're having a hard time getting to the scenes, things like that. I realize those are real life problems that, emergency responders have, but this is a video game and you have to adjust for that idea. All right, so let's go to the next one, which would be increased automatic police AI response time to callouts, 70 to 90 seconds. Okay, I suppose that's a good thing, but in a way it's not. All right, so if we're stuck in traffic and we're having a hard time getting to the scene because people aren't yielding or moving over like they're supposed to, then the AI is still going to have that problem too, most likely. Or they're going to crash into everything and cars are going to go flying everywhere and it's going to be a complete disaster. Added a precinct icon to the map UI. Now I'm going to look particularly for this because that was one of the things I didn't like. Sometimes you get turned around. You're in this big city, you're driving around, you're doing calls, you're patrolling, and then you're like, God, I really need to get back, to the precinct, or your car gets destroyed or something. And you're like, oh crap, my car is upside down in the middle of Main Street. Well, then you either have to take a car that's empty, drive all the way back to the precinct, or you just have to respawn yourself. Now, ladies and gentlemen, F6 is your buddy. F6 is a developer menu that they have that allows you to respawn, and believe me, you'll probably use that a lot. I've fallen through the map. I've been launched into the air. I've had to respawn a number of times already. All right, so let's get back to what we were reading here. All right, so fixed a bug where AI characters from vehicles could not have their pistol confiscated from their pockets. Okay. I'm a little confused about that. But then again, I'm just now getting into actually playtesting this. So when you get into a firefight or when you arrest somebody, a lot of times their firearm ends up on the ground, right? But if you pick it up, what do you do with it? I mean, can you go to the trunk and put it in the trunk? I don't know. I haven't tried that yet. I didn't see any particular way to take care of that other than now you have two pistols and you basically the only thing you can do is hit B and drop it right where it was at. So maybe you can put it into like evidence in your trunk. I haven't tried that yet. I'm assuming that that's the way it's supposed to work. So, all right, let's take a look at this one. All right, added a safety measure to prevent AI characters that are killed from executing vehicle context requests. All right, let me read that again. Added a safety measure to prevent AI characters that are killed from executing vehicle context requests. Oh, so like opening the door or getting into the seat or I don't know. I haven't run into that. At least I don't think I have, where an AI that you've shot and killed is getting up and driving away or anything like that. So I don't know. AI character capsule collection no longer simulates collision while on the ground. Okay. Okay. All right. So let's go into controls, interaction, and bug fixes. Fix the camera getting stuck to the hand when aiming down the sights and holstering the weapon. Oh, thank God. You must have seen my video. That was a big one, man. And I mean, I was stuck. I was like, I'm staring into my holster, which, because of the angle, you can't even see that the weapon's in the holster. So I was like, what am I staring at? The interior of a holster on the side of my character. So yeah, that was, that was something, man. All right. So we got added a filter to prevent retrieving other items with the right hand while holding an item. Oh, thank God. Yeah, I hadn't really had that problem, but that was probably going to be big. I mean, okay, you can't, if you've got a gun in your right hand, you can't go pick up that garbage can or a chair or paper or, you've already got your hand filled. So put your gun away or put it somewhere. Okay, so that makes sense. Block the vehicle interaction keys once exiting a vehicle has been initiated. Okay. So, okay. All right. So you've exited the vehicle. I mean, does it really, was there really a problem with being able to still look in the side of the vehicle while you're outside of it and using it? I never noticed that. So whoever caught that one, good job. Escape menu can now close all interaction menus. And if no menu is active, it opens up the main menu UI. Oh, thank God. Thank you. That small little thing. I mean, when you think about it, most modern games, the escape button closes out whatever you're in, and you'll either get to the main menu or you'll back out of whatever interaction menu you're in, and then you can keep hitting escape to go to the main menu. But yeah, I hit escape so many times during my first playthrough that I was like, oh my God, I'm just screwing things up so bad. So yeah, that's great. That's a good addition. Fix the player's lower arms clipping through their shirt while driving. That's the small fix. I mean, it really is. It's just like, okay. And here's the thing. If you've ever done any 3D art, like if you worked in Blender or Maya or any of the other ones, you know that because of the way you rig clothing onto an avatar, it's attached to basically a skeleton, right? And you have to paint weights onto the clothing that's on the avatar or onto the mesh, quote unquote, that allows you to flex like an arm. Like you can stretch your arm way out and then you can bend the elbow, and you have to have it weighted in such a way as that the elbow doesn't pop through the corner of your shirt. It's just, that's really what that is. I don't know how much he does 3D art or if this was an asset change, or if this was something that he tried to do through like the dev kit itself. I don't know how he did it or what he did, but at the same time, it's a small change, and I'm sure somebody probably griped about it, but really, I mean, come on, it's not really that big of a deal. Removed the shots fired and armed individuals call out on West 151st Street. Thank God. I'm telling you, man, when you're that close to the precinct, I mean, unless you're the world's dumbest criminal, you're not going to get into a firefight with the police officers right in front of the precinct. That's just not going to happen. Don't get me wrong. In most metropolitan areas, especially like Detroit and Chicago and New York, I mean, the precincts usually right behind the precinct or within, a quarter mile of it, you got the ghetto. So you're going to have projects and you're going to have things going on, but you're never, ever, ever going to see them right in front of the police station shooting the place up. That's just not going to happen. A little common sense there on that one. So yeah, I agree with that. I think that was fantastic. I think that's a good change. But that being said, we've looked at the change log. We're going to pop in here real quick. Now keep in mind, what happened was, he actually released this patch earlier, but then he found a critical bug and then he reverted it back, and then he just re-released the patch. So I'm sure some of this stuff is probably going to be not quite in yet, or it's partially in there. So we have to always remember that, this is development. It is, a patch that could break the system. That just happens. So we got to be patient with that. But let's go ahead and jump in. There's been some questions in Discord, and I'm just going to address this in my video. All right, so this is kind of a big one for me, and I know it's not something that's on the immediate list, right? Character customization. All right, so there was a question about, is there going to be character customization in the game? I don't see how there's any way they could do this without it. All right, for one, it's going to be co-op. For another, they're going to have dedicated servers, which means dedicated server communities, and people are going to look different. Nobody's going to want to look like the same Bob that's running around right now. They're going to want to have different hair colors, different eyeglasses, different eye colors, different skin types, different body builds. They're going to want different uniforms. They're going to want assigned numbers, like they want to have a static number that is always their number when they play on their community, on their dedicated server. So, you always be Adam, 12 or Adam 1 or, Whiskey Charlie something or, something of that nature. All right. So you're always going to have that designated code. So yes, there's going to be character customization, but beyond that, look at our Steam community, or look at everybody that's in the Discord and watching the game or playing the game. You don't just have a bunch of guys playing the game, right? There are females. There are actual women that play this game. All right, and I'm sure they don't like running around as a guy all the time. So there's going to be a male and a female, phenotype for players eventually. Now, is it important right now? Not necessary. I don't think it is. I think for now, what you could do is just have a basic, choose between male or female, and then go from there for now, just as kind of a patch to that. And then when you get ready to do your character customization menus and your UI, and you've got the models made, and you've got all the hairstyles made, and everything's looking right, then you start putting that together. Now, the character customization is not overly difficult to do, especially not in Unreal, but it's time consuming. And what's really the longest point of the whole process of developing this isn't the actual logical functions and things, the blueprints or the C++. That's easy. The hard part is that you need the 3D art and assets to do that with, and you're going to need 3D artists that can do that stuff. So that's a whole other ball of wax to think of. I've made a few characters. I wouldn't say I made them well, but they were passable. That's kind of a specialized area of 3D art. Character model, artists are very good at what they do, and they're very detail orientated, and it takes time. It takes a lot of time. I like doing like accessories and uniforms, and PR-24s, maybe mag lights, different handcuffs, spike traps. I would be fun with putting in a vest, or one of the utility vests that has the gun belt on it, but also has the police across the front and back, and like a chest-drawn taser area, a holster, and a better utility belt, to kind of go with the whole aesthetic of being in New York, either as a New York State police officer or a New York Police Department officer. So and another thing is that I want to really see, like, I like the idea of it being in New York, I do, but if you're gonna bring this to the masses in 2026, maybe just a little bit more attention to the liveries. Like, it's a quick story and it's a fun story, right? So you remember, if you've ever been to New York, like 10 years ago, you're going to see the blue and yellow for the New York State Police. It's always that royal blue and the yellow decals, right? Well, it turns out that they got away from that. Actually, they came to blue and yellow after being gray. It's like 1940 to 1970, I believe, it was gray. All right. And then they decided, someone said, well, let's change up our appearance and our colors, and so they made the New York State Police, vehicles all blue and yellow. Well, what they didn't tell you is that it was costing them about $7,000 additional for just that particular blue paint. All right, so the department, in the state, were paying all this extra money for these vehicles for just this blue paint. And so just recently, the New York State Police said, we're going to go back to the gray because it doesn't cost extra, for one, and it looks good. So you got modern vehicles and you got the gray, and it looks a lot better, in my opinion. And you need that distinguishment anyways, in my opinion. I mean, if you look at a Seminole County Sheriff's Department and their uniform versus a local police department like Winter Springs or Winter Haven or any of these local townships, I mean, you got the blue uniform, the traditional blue police uniform, then you've got green. All right, but then if you look at the state police, they wear a beige uniform. All right, and their cars are a black with a yellow like top half, right? So it really matters because those distinguishments are going to actually give you the immersion that you want. So that's kind of why I want to see more liveries and the ability to change things up a little bit more. But that's something that, like I said, that's not a priority right now. Right now, it's just making sure that the game functions the way it should function. I mean, that's really the big deal right now. We want to make sure that we can do traffic stops, we can respond to calls. I like the fact that I don't have to use the DAS if I don't want to. I can actually just look on the map, see where there's something going on, show up, and then help with the call. I do like that a lot. I like open patrol. I like being able to just, ride down the street, see what's going on, pull over people that are doing something crazy, if they're running into other cars or if they're, running lights, just do it. But you have to use your imagination for now because there's not a whole lot of logic backing all that up. So, but anyways, let's get into the game. We're going to play a little bit and then see what's going on. All right. Dysons, if you watch this video, that's driving me nuts. The bright purple. All right, so yeah, we need to do something with that. Get an LOD for it or something. Yeah, because that's just, God, that's so tacky. Come on, man. Just saying. All right, so we're going to select our department. Ta-da! And down we go to the precinct. We're going to choose our role. And again, here I am, Officer Rio. Dun, dun, dun. All right, now, what would be kind of cool is if we actually were in a briefing room and we got assigned to a certain role. Like, say I was going to be traffic today, or at least we could choose a role. Or if we wanted to be in narcotics, we could be narcotics. Then we go to the locker room, we can change into our civilian clothes for undercover work or for detective work. That would be kind of cool. But yeah, I like the fact that they've got a nice station and there's a lot of room in here for improvement. We're going to open the door. I think the first thing I'm going to do is we're going to see what happens when I do this. We are in first person mode. We're going to pop on in here like so. Open the door. Jump in. Oh! Oh! Alright. Looking into my own... Oh! Okay. Might need some camera adjustments there. I can see into the hollow shell of what was my body. Alright. But I didn't flip the car when I did that, which is nice to see. Alright, so, okay. So let's go ahead and come over here. Dashboard, incidents, records, everything's working. Okay. Alright, so let's read more on this. Let's go back here. We're just going to go to...
In the confines of the 115, missing 52 of a dispute, 37 Avenue,
That's dirt.
77th Street, 37 Avenue, 77th Street, 78th Street.
Alright, so that's an investigate. We're going to click on this. Find it here. One. We'll assign ourselves to it. Warning, you're about to assign yourself to a call out.
115 post 6.
Got it. Okay, we're going to hit escape, see what happens. Nope, can't escape out of here. Oh, there we go. You have to click on the screen again and then you can escape. Alright, now is there a map? Can I hit a map? Is there a... I don't see a map. An M button to pull up the map would be nice, just so we can see it here. Alright, how do I zoom in on this again? Oh, crap.
1011 on 38F.
Alright, so there we go. Alright, so we're at the precinct, right? Which means we're like right here somewhere, I think. I don't see the precinct icon.
115 post 6.
Alright. Now before anybody gets all, you know, oh, he's done it without it, it's not. That's not necessarily true, because he also said that he had to revert the patch, and that chances are that whatever patch we got probably doesn't have this. So I would expect to see that fixed in the morning, so don't freak out too much. But anyways, we got our assignment. We're going to go ahead and do this. Now just for aesthetics here, I'm going to turn on the lights. What, there's no high and low now? Okay, well, whatever. Turn on the car. I do like the digital speedometer. That's nice. Alright. So let's see here. I'm trying to remember the controls because I haven't played in a day since yesterday. Alright, so where are we at? It says we're right off of Main Street right here at 100. West 151st Street. Okay, so let's just go back into this just to double check because it makes sense if you want to check. It's
4015 104th Street, 4015 104th Street.
And there is no icon here. Right, so yeah, we did verify that that does not work. Alright, click on the middle screen, hit escape. Yay. Alright, we're going to go... Oh, here. We're going to change this too because I don't like it. I'll be able to see it. Time of day. Noon. That's better. Hit F6 again. I'm going to get out of first person mode because I'm just going to crash randomly if we do that. Might be able to...
21 Adam to Central.
21 Adam.
It's because we assigned it, we don't have to tell them we're rolling. inside the home. Let's see what happens when I do this. They're not really moving over so much, but it's not to say that they won't. Alright. Oh! Sorry, my bad. Just want to get off the road here so that we're not...
Copy.
10-5.
Ooh, I like that.
39 theft of service, 8655.
I like the
Queens
controls on the
Boulevard.
side. That's nice. It's a good...
Sorry, condition side center.
Oh, I see. Alright, so where were we
Get
supposed to be?
doing westbound on 41 Ave towards National. I'm going to be
All right,
out canvassing with a
921.
witness.
Alright, let's come on in here and see what's going on.
Yeah, you got a male Hispanic, about 45 years old, black jacket,
We're
blue
looking
jeans,
at-
about 5'6". Went westbound on 41 towards National. I'm 15 in Tech Sergeant 2.
I suppose it's this one? Is it this one?
15,
Five
condition
on
side.
post 1.
Can you post 1?
Post 1 center. Somebody doing a 75 boy.
I should probably make it so the door opens
What post is that?
inwards.
15 bus post 1.
Okay, you're making this really difficult for me.
115 in Tech Sergeant 2.
Get out of the way of the door, asshole.
2320. Plus 1's missing 91, missing return.
Can't talk to him because I can't get into the damn door.
This is Jennifer. You already give me a second. Stand by.
And Sergeant.
Open the door.
And Sergeant.
Sergeant, go ahead.
The complaint for this job, I got somebody's job.
Who has the complainant?
Prior conditions, Sergeant Central, where's he needed? Yeah, 100 Street and 41 Avenue. Forward.
Forward.
I'll
The
open
sergeant
the
has
door.
no stop, right?
Probably not even the right address because I don't see nobody else in there. Well, let's just go to the next one and see maybe it's up here somewhere.
8655 Queens Boulevard.
Post 1.
Not in here.
5.
It had to be the downstairs apartment. Alright.
Hey, post 1. Go ahead, Kay.
Golden job at 77 Roosevelt.
Forward. Oh, no, negative 37 Ave and 77th Street is what I have.
Oh, I can talk to him at least now.
Came over death of service.
Maybe.
10 boy, someone's picking it up.
Hello. Hey, get out of the way.
Send each other off. You need somebody to back you?
5 post 3.
Alright, so this isn't quite working the way it should
The
be.
110, Digby, raise it.
I can't squeeze in here. This guy's not talking.
110 for you.
Oh, there we go. I just had to spam F.
39, right?
That's weird. Ask about the argument. It's about bills.
10 Sergeant 2, 10-5 that last shot.
It's a death of service from Georgia's Diner, 8655
ID.
Queens Boulevard. Mel White, where
No, the
would you
one on
like
37 Avenue, Central.
Alright, can I zoom in on this?
39,
Or zoom in
the
on it?
death of service for a taxi. They're having a verbal dispute. Female
Gotta get a
refusing
good
to pay.
angle.
Where's that?
Post 1 and 3
Alright,
have
David
it.
Rodriguez. Now, here's the
Give me
thing.
address, please.
That's
Kind of
what
bugs me a
37
little bit
Ave,
is that I should be
77th
able, the minute I look at this ID, I should have an option here to radio dispatch with this information so that I can have it checked, find out if there's any warrants, what the history is, and then go from there. Because there's a domestic disturbance at this apartment, I don't want to leave whoever's in there getting their butt kicked to the mercy of this guy at the door without knowing exactly what's going on. Of course, you'd normally be able to get in there, right? So he's going to have to position these NPCs to open the door back instead of trying to open it forward so that you can get in. That's going to just be a little bit of logic changes and things like that. But anyways, we got David Rodriguez. Yeah, for now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and let's see if I can check the ID card.
Queen Arm 84.
I'm going to actually, do I need to tell him I'm going to be right back, or is it just, I'm just going to go check. Alright, where's my car? Yeah, you should never have to leave the scene like this. That's a fundamental flaw. Alright. Go here. Records. David Rodriguez. There's only one on the list. Good.
Alright, 10-4, whatever. I'm checking.
Alright. Gun charge, yes. Assault, no. Escape, yes. Resisting arrest, no. Suicide EDP, no. CEW. What is a CEW? I need to look that up because I don't remember. New York is a little different than any of the other places I've ever worked, but what is a CEW? Okay. What is a CEW in law enforcement? All right. Conducted energy weapon. Oh, a taser. Okay. 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 That works. Right, so he has used a taser, or he's had a taser used on him. I guess that means. Arrest. He's never been arrested. Got no warrants. Okay, so in this particular situation, what I would do is I'd say step away from the frickin' door, or give an option, you know, for me to say that to him, so that I can enter the building. But then again, you know, early access, so it may or it may not work.
3121 90 Street. 3121 90 Street.
All right.
Thank you.
Just stand by 1 second, Henry. Give me a
Let's
second.
back off and see if he opens the door
And
again.
110 holding 2 jobs. The Family Dispute 8635 Queens Boulevard and a 53 on the highway. No highway is available. Northern Boulevard and Grand Central Parkway. GCP exit 9 eastbound.
If I wanted to stay with the 39.
All right. I'm going to try to talk to you through the door.
The Family Dispute 8635 Queens Boulevard. That one is at the
Because
Georgia
apparently
side
I've got
of
your
Queens
license and I
Boulevard.
can't give it back to you because you're standing behind the door.
David 84.
No, that's not working.
Give me check advisor right there.
4, David. 4. Some service or not yet?
Show me phone up 84 at the Georgia.
Yeah.
All right, no problem.
I can't even
Just
give him
advise
back his
the
license.
family in that case. 2013.
No way. No, no, no. Well, here.
115 Henry.
There's your license.
Put me back of Frank Shop.
We're going to call this clear.
10-4.
But yeah, that's a fundamental problem right there.
115
Can't get in the
Sergeant.
door. Annoying one at that.
115 Sergeant.
All right,
115 Sergeant on the air.
Dispatch.
21 Adam to Central.
115 and
Billboard 21 Adam.
Respond to that 1011 Commercial Bird at Roosevelt Avenue.
Back Sergeant 1. I didn't get there.
10-4.
So yeah, I couldn't actually do my investigation on
DDL.
that, which sucks.
75 Frank, 3736, 107th Street, second floor.
Okay, give me 1 second. Let's have priority.
I guess it cleared it for me. Just all right. All right, that works. Okay. And again, I hate that they turn off your headlights. Leave those on. What happens if I got to get out of the car and it's low visibility like this, and somebody's doing something, or they jump out and I can't see the scene or what's going on around me? Leave the headlights on until you turn them off. All right, so let's go ahead and just take a quick look here. Oh, I got traffic coming. All right, I'm not going to use turn signals because I don't like where they're located at. I might rebind this. All right, maybe I can. Let's try that. You guys will just have to wait. All right, settings, controls. No, you cannot rebind them, which would have been nice. Because usually what I do is indicator left would be, why are there 3 indicator rights? Okay. Is that that's gotta be a glitch, right? Right. So that must be left, so comma must be, okay. Can't rebind them, so. Alright, so that's left. That's right. I would have bound those to I have a secondary side mice buttons. So I do the top would be left and the bottom would be right. But okay. I'm not going to bother returning signals because that's just a waste of time. It's clunky. What is this guy doing? Try to third person pull him over. There we go. That worked. Third person's working now. I was actually able to conduct a traffic stop. Alright, now before we do anything, go to first person. We're going to try to run that plate. Is there a zoom? It's YQJ. I can see that much.
73642 Avenue. Be in the lobby, 97 please, to 99th Street. The code states someone smoking marijuana in the building.
Right.
Broke a lock.
What's that big
The
red
second
dot
door to
there?
entry in the building.
Guess it doesn't matter. It's Tommy Gonzalez.
115 Adam.
It's not stolen. Has an inspection sticker. It has admissions.
115 Adam.
I'm not sure what the road stuff is.
Is
Exported.
still out at
No.
the Renaissance
Sure,
Service
yes.
School?
Okay.
Coming right back to 115. I'll advise my 198.
Look at his profile.
10-4.
Does he have any warrants? No. Charge
Warrant,
history,
David.
assault on a patrol
Yeah,
officer.
very nice on your 52.
Okay, so let's see what we got here.
Four.
I want this.
2027, 2027.
Alright, so what do we got? We got... Alright, it's a black dude, right? Matter of fact, let's just make sure it's a black dude.
110 FDU.
Yay,
110 up to you.
it's a black dude. Okay.
We're 84 at the 53.
All right, Tommy.
Check the callback
I'm gonna
on
say
that, 'cause we
hello
don't
to
see
you.
anything on this side.
Okay, why am I returning an ID
Okay,
card
number
if I don't
53.
have an ID card?
Central Parkway, exit 9.
10-4.
He didn't... What?
Car condition
Okay,
side.
so the conversations are getting confused. If I walk away and I...
That's till the witness is out of the auto.
All right, so let's think about this for a second. All right, so in the last call, I couldn't give back the guy his ID card, so I dropped it on the floor. Which, by all rights, the NPC should have picked up the card. But then again, that whole thing is messed up because the doors open outward instead of inward,
Impact Sergeant 84.
and they stand behind the door.
84 where, okay?
So yeah, I would have the NPCs come by the door, open it up, and then either move out of the way, or if you have to say, hey, open the door, you know, then they reopen the door. But it just didn't work for whatever reason. It was trying to open it inwards against the NPC. So maybe if you do it twice, have it so it opens the door outward. That would be probably a nice addition. All right. So I'm not sure why he's asking me to order him out, because I didn't even tell him why I pulled him over yet. But get out of the vehicle. Tommy, get out of the vehicle.
It's going to be 3445 111 Street,
You're not making this easy.
3445 111 Street, 34 Avenue to 37 Avenue.
Now I'm going to hold F. Won't let me even pull him out. Can't pull him out of the vehicle. There we go. Get out of the vehicle. I told you to get out. You won't do it. Get out.
10-4.
Okay, first person, and now I'm all screwed up.
15 impact sergeant.
All right.
90 NORAC.
4.
Pick him up.
Central 3445.
10-4. 34.
Oh, no, that's remove handcuffs.
10-4. 2035. 2035.
That's for ID. Oh! Okay, yeah. It's a little messed up. Okay.
10-5. You're coming in 2x2.
Fire condition sergeant. You try to call
Now, how do
back,
we get him off the ground?
10-4.
Can't help you out, buddy.
3445
Stand up.
111 Street, 3445 111 Street, 34 Avenue, 37 Avenue, private house, second floor. Advise a male assaulted a female.
5 Frank, 1184.
2035, 2035, Frank.
I feel bad. I was a little annoyed by that.
Fancy getting him on the callback?
All right. Well, we tried to actually stand him up and couldn't do it. You gonna let me close his door? No. Can't close his door. I can get in. I'm gonna move you off the road.
Sergeant.
See if we can at least call an ambulance. Come on. There we go.
21 Adam to Central. Roll me a bus.
21. Bus is en route.
The 110, who's giving back the final for the 30 at the 5-star mark?
Okay, I have the weird arm thing happening again. Come on, bro.
No further to 99 Street, no further. Sorry, no further.
It's because he's supposed to be grabbing his radio, I think. There we go.
Adam?
Did you,
Yeah. So you're supposed to... Yeah, that
21
animation's a
Adam
little
to
messed
Central.
up.
Go for 21.
First off, that's not where the radio is going to be. There'll be lapels at the top of your shirt. You can see the button right there on the right. There's one on the left. That's where the actual hand mic actually clips to usually. So, I don't know. That's a weird place for that to be showing up. That's what's going on there. Let's back up. Conversation. Okay, so, well, there's the... Wow, Jimmy. Come on, man. You're going to come to his car, not to the body laying in the street?
It's a dispute with the inside canal on Roosevelt, 802 Roosevelt Avenue.
Wow.
So you're picking it up?
Jimmy.
10-4, is there a post back to you?
Where are you, Jimmy?
5 post 1.
Jimmy, what are you doing?
Pull back him.
Just flip the car out of the way. You could do it.
No, 115, we have a suspicious
Wow.
male, 2517
Oh, look.
86th Street. 53, they're also having a
That should be a
distance,
smooth
107
transition.
Street,
You should be
Northern
stopped
Boulevard,
like that.
And reckless driver, GCP.
All right, let's go to the pizzeria. Hey, we got any pizza in here? No, we don't.
On
Get in
5
there.
DVL.
That's my home visit.
Good from the outside. All right, well, we're done with that one.
Oh.
Nothing we can do there. Oh, there's another call over here. Let's see what this is. Oh, look. A one-way street. We're gonna go ahead and come over here anyways. So where are we at right now? Let's look at our handy-dandy notebook here.
15 Sergeant, be advised DVO is holding one at 3736 107
We are
Street.
at
105, 1115 Sergeant, copy.
153rd Street. That is
That's who's holding one?
115 DVO at 3736
Best
107
possible-
Street. No, yeah, 3736 107
noise
Street.
complaint. Okay. Sign. Proceed.
5 Charlie.
Stay about 1 second, Charlie.
Escape.
115 Sergeant, copy.
Let's get out. And again, we're going to try this. Oh my
115
God, we're
Sergeant,
tilted.
advising you that DVO is holding one at 3736 107 Street, copy.
Orientation needs to be fixed when you're going from
115
first
Charlie, go
person
ahead.
Yeah, Central. I'm on
third person,
86th Street,
so that
5,
the
5.
camera
Come by that
resets
suspicious
itself to a frontal evened out. Because right now I feel like I'm in a
1517
funhouse.
86th Street, 2 male black ringing the doorbell. Female doesn't know who they are. Says someone sent them to do a survey.
I also
She
think
opened the door.
doors, typically like commercial doors like this,
Alright, Temple.
should close on their own. Okay. Can we even hit any of these
Impact
buttons?
auto?
I don't know.
Yeah, that's my daughter.
Did you respond to a call for help on 90th Street or negative?
Alright, we are going to 5, which is probably going to be
Oh, okay, no problem. But it was
on the
only 2 though,
second
right?
floor, I'd imagine. Let's find out. Hello. I hit second floor.
5 Charlie.
115 Charlie.
Yeah, 86th Street. You can make it at
Second floor?
10-4.
Nothing?
5.
There it goes. That's a little wonky still.
2044, 2044.
Alright, let's see what we got here.
Or show me transporting one representative back to the house.
Alright, so it looks like there's only 4 apartments on each
Units
floor,
ensure
which
that
means
you both
one
the
of
back
these
door
is
safety
probably
locks are
5.
properly utilized to prevent escape.
8. Nope, it's going to be down a floor. Alright.
115 Charlie, 115 Charlie.
Alright, so we'll go to the first floor.
Charlie.
Respond to 53.
that's-
107 Street, Northern Boulevard, 107 Street to Northern Boulevard. Be advised it's
Number
a
5.
Toyota Corolla and a Honda Odyssey. They're about to fight.
10-4. You still have me on the 52?
What the hell? I just went down there. What the hell's going on here?
That's 115 Charlie. I don't show you on the 52, okay?
Let's find the job. 3-1.
For good sakes, man. First floor. I said the first floor. First. We're not on the first floor.
I'll go to the 53 Palm Street.
All right, no
Is there a
problem.
stairwell? Please tell me I can get in there.
Tennessee.
Ugh. I'm stuck on the second floor.
Step out the unit, okay?
We'll take that.
Try a different elevator, maybe it'll work.
What unit is that, kid?
Tennessee.
You.
First floor.
10-4. That's going to be a 52-family violent protection, 911.
That's not the first floor.
It says the second floor. The female complainant has order protection against her brother, and he's at the location. Male agent wearing a maroon jacket,
Alright,
baseball hat, and
so
khaki pants.
zero
Next to
worked.
you, copy? Advised the male complainant also called in on his sister, saying she's harassing him.
Well, that direction.
That's
no
what I
problem.
thought. 4. Which means I gotta go up a floor. Alright, come on.
115 post that on the end.
On the air.
First floor.
Job is going to be a reckless driver, 111th Street.
This should
Hard,
work,
New York
hopefully.
Frank Robert Williams, 8146, headed eastbound for
Alright.
a reckless driver. GCP exit 8.
7, 6, 5.
Post 10, stand by.
Going back in case it does anything wonky.
10 conditions, Sergeant.
110 condition,
Yep.
Sergeant.
Opened out, and he's standing right in it, so if it had opened in, that would have been bad. You're the owner.
And by the address 10221.
Mark 10.
I can warn, but I can't get an ID.
110 receiving 52 with a dispute 4125 K Street, 4125 K Street.
After the fact?
Also receiving a 1010.
Why would you do it
reckless
after the
driver,
fact?
Going on Expressway, Grand Central Parkway.
All right, so that needs to be
Going on
changed
Expressway
too.
to Grand Central
The
Parkway.
first thing you're going to want to do in in this kind of confrontation is like you come up and you knock on the door. You can hear them having a party in there, right? Music's
10
blasting.
condition, Sergeant.
They come to the door. You say, "Hey, I'm with New York Police Department. I'm Officer such and such. We received a noise warning or a complaint, and we wanted to see what was going on and ask you if you could politely either turn down the music or can I have your identification because I'm going to give you a ticket, which would be the first thing I want. Please give me your ID. You never know. You might be dealing with a felon right here. You might be dealing with somebody that's wanted. You don't know these people. You don't know what's going on in this thing. I mean, is it just a party or is there something else going on?
West Coast 1.
Are they using drugs? Are they all, doing things they shouldn't be? You don't know. So every situation you walk into is different. So the first thing you want to do is identify whoever's responsible for the party or for the apartment. So you get the identification like so. Let me take a look at it.
Impact, Sergeant.
Maybe.
84, post 6.
And we find out that Michael Thomas here is the owner of the apartment. Okay.
110 John.
Say thank you, I'll be right back. Or not. I don't know what just happened, but I'm black screened and can't do anything. There we go.
Yep.
Alright, so we're going to go down and we're going to run Michael Thomas. Now this is why it's such a big deal to be able to radio this in. I want that feature particularly because I would not leave the scene to go down there and check this. I'd be like, "Oh, can you run, Michael Thomas, this is blah, 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 date of birth, blah, blah, blah," and then, bring me back a criminal report on this guy. If the guy's got multiple violations or he's done it enough, you've done it enough to where it's a problem, an ongoing problem, I want to know about it. And if it is something that he just refuses to follow the directions of the officers, then I would give him a citation and make him pay for it. But if it's a first-time offense, then I would just give him a nice warning and wish him a nice night and turn it down, please. And off I go to the next call. But see, I can't do that. I have to go all the way downstairs. All the way downstairs, man. On a wonky elevator. At least open up the stairwell so that we can go down the different way. Because, oh my God. So now I got to come down here. I got to try to fiddle with this.
95 Grand coming out with the FPU at all in Boyd Avenue.
0, please. Oh, it's making me nauseous. Alright, let's see.
Did you get the cat via family job, guys?
So, come down here and we'll run his stuff.
16 Adam. 115 Adam.
Come over here.
Are you still on 111th
Gonna do
Street?
Michael Thomas.
About that 34 negative.
Yeah, I'm still out. I'll about to go
Thomas.
98. What are you holding?
Did you ever go to your dispute on 84th Street,
Okay.
35 Ave?
Yeah, mark that
Address.
down,
Do I
yeah.
have an address on here? Can we tell where he's at?
115 Charlie.
Last known address is New York City, Vermilion Avenue,
Charlie.
which isn't the road we're on, I don't think.
53,
But
107 in
what do
Northern
I
and the
know?
course for help, 312-190 Street,
Yeah,
right?
we're on 153rd Street, so that's not even up to date.
And no problem.
Alright, so, but let's go back to this. Michael Thomas, Gun charges, assault on patrol officer, yes. He has had a taser deployed on him.
10 of a reckless driver.
Arrest, no
on
arrests,
111
warrants, no
111
warrants.
Grand Central Parkway.
Okay,
Going eastbound,
okay.
exit
So
8.
he's got no noise complaints and no history of it.
10-4.
Okay. Now, it does say a shooting homicide history. What the hell? Okay. And a gun charge. So, obviously the guy is not somebody we want to provoke because he might pull out an illegal firearm and shoot us. Okay. I'm going to give him a nice, polite warning and be on my way. Also, the time of day transitions are too fast. Going from night to day pretty quick. At least put a slider in there that we can slow down time. Depending on what you've got going on for that, it might be a problem. I'm assuming that it's going to be tick-based for the engine. If it's tick-based, then that might be a problem, because if you slow down time, then calls won't react right, things won't happen when it's supposed to happen. But we can hope.
A3-10 Astoria Boulevard.
Alright.
Okay, stand by. They on the phone 911.
Are you going to open the door again?
There we go.
10-4.
Yeah, thank you.
That's
All right,
a
bro.
Rob.
Here is your card.
Position, Sergeant going.
10-4.
Keep it down and have a nice day.
Superb, two male blacks wearing all black.
See, that one worked pretty good. It wasn't too bad.
Towards
A couple of slight problems, but nothing like overly bad. Other than this camera thing is driving me crazy. We're not going to see a lot of like the wonky stuff, because really I think what's happening with that, like you see all the cars that are kind of crashing and flying in the air and all that stuff. That stuff's mostly happening after it's been running a while. I suspect, and I could be wrong on this, but I suspect that what's happening is that the spawning of the vehicles continues to happen while you're loading into the game, right? So depending on where the vehicle spawned, if there was something occupying that spot, then it could be under the ground, and then it pops up and then it clips things and it causes vehicles to fly into the air. Or it could be that there's just the populating is happening before reaching the max capacity of traffic, and then it's just becoming a giant mess. I mean, that could be a possibility. I mean, there's a lot of different things logically that could happen when you're putting something like this together. So, I mean, I'm not going to be overly critical, other than to say that traffic control is a very big deal, because you don't want things like this happening where it's all clogged up. I mean, look at this. Gridlocked. There's an ambulance that has gone completely haywire and he's just crashed into something. You know, we need to have a way to clear the scenes and clear, like, things like this. I don't know what you would actually put in here to do that offhand. I mean, I can think of a dozen different things. Given time, I could probably come up with a couple hundred different ways to take care of it. But one of the things that's a big deal, and this is from an old call actually, this is where Jimmy decided he was going to come take care of the guy, but he went to the car instead of to the actual NPC who's laying on the ground over here still probably. Yeah, who's still right here. And yeah, long dead now. So a despawn on the civvies that get shot after a certain amount of time should cancel out the ambulance call, and then the ambulance despawns, the body despawns. You know, probably need some routines in to take care of that. But for the most part, I mean, it is what it is. It's still very unrefined in a lot of aspects. So I suppose I'm not too surprised. Wow, that's really driving me crazy that you turn off my headlights. I don't like that. Don't do that. What if I got out here and there was somebody trying to mug somebody and I couldn't see it? If my headlights were still on, I'd be able to tell. Ooh. Ooh, there's a nice big blank spot. Let's go check this out. See if I can get out of the way, guys. We're gonna come over here. It looks like a parking lot, right? Yeah, looks like a parking lot. Like should have like a under construction sign here, or NY State, building coming soon or something. Can I come over into it? Oh! Okay, yeah, no, that's bad. We are now officially under the map. But again, this is one of them things, and let's be honest, it's early access. The city is not done yet. So it's no surprise that you're going to find spots like this. I've had conversations with Dan and Holt and some of the other staff members that are volunteering with Dyson's, and right now the core fundamentals are kind of important right now, so they're not really focused on patching these holes and things in the map. So just be careful when you're running through here that you don't pull into what looks like an empty parking lot and end up under the map like I just did. There are gaps between some of the buildings. There are buildings that have no interiors. So if you're pursuing a suspect, be aware of where you're running. If you see a gap, stay away from it. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is. It's early access, and it's to be expected that the map's not going to be necessarily their focus point. I would say that although the bundle doesn't look bad, I think they could do a lot better with somebody actually making these buildings. I really do. I think that making an office building like the one in front of me, it's not that hard to do. Now, if you want interiors and all of that, then it gets a little bit more time consuming, but to an extent, you should have those things. Say this building's on fire and it's on the 3rd floor, right? So the firefighters got to get in there. They got to go up the stairwells because you can't use elevators, because you can't use elevators during a fire, right? Fundamental, thing. So you got to take, your equipment up these stairs and then put out the fires, but you want to have places for them to go, right? You don't want it to just be, it's in the hallway. No, you want it to be like somebody's kitchen area in their apartment's on fire and it's causing mayhem. So you go in and you put out the fire and do your thing. But you have to have those interiors to do that, which means you have to build the interiors. You have to put the physics on there, the physics plane, so that people can actually stand in those areas and not fall through the map. And that in itself is very time consuming. Modeling buildings, it's not hard. I mean, I can whip together an office building just like this in about 20 minutes. But then you have to test, and you have to make sure that it's textured correctly and that you're getting the right bake on it so you get the ambient occlusion, because you want them to stand out. You want it to look good, right? So, tweaking buildings and getting them right to the way you want them and make them look good, it takes a little bit more skill and time. So, I mean, I understand that they don't really have a 3D assets, artist anywhere, but that's definitely something they need to consider. And they need to start working on modular buildings and things like that. Just make sure, guys in Visionary, make sure that you find an artist that will make it modular so that you can piece and put together things the way you want in the Unreal Engine, your kit. That way you're not stuck with one solid building that you can't, decorate in or change around, or maybe you don't want all buildings to look exactly the same, so you attach a garage to one and then an alley here and, things like that, all the little details. I always like to build modularly when I make stuff in Blender and stuff. So, but anyways, I think that's all I'm going to show today. It's in episode 1. Really, it didn't go as badly as it looks. I mean, it had some issues, and we didn't get to see any of the flying cars today. But we did see some problems, and I did point out a few things. Obviously, the patch did not include the precinct icon like we were hoping, but I'm sure it's coming. But there are a lot of improvements already, just from, presumably they've watched my video and seen my feedback, as well as others who have experienced this, and they've fixed some of this stuff. And that's all you can really ask in early access is, hey, man, this is messed up. We want to make sure this gets fixed, and Dyson's is right on the ball, man. He's taking care of it. So I give him kudos. I look forward to seeing the improvements over the next couple of months. And I'm ready to go play some Star Citizen. So I'm going to go ahead and get on out of here. Thank you for watching. This is Unity Rio signing off.